Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your family physician, board certified, practicing in the US for over a decade now. And today I want to talk about something I see every single day in my clinic, something that no lab test can measure, but that affects your health more than almost anything else. I often tell my patients, we really put ourselves through the ringer these days. We wake up in the morning and drink that green smoothie, kale, spinach, the whole 9 yards because we want to be healthy, we want to prevent cancer. At lunch, we pop those expensive fish oil capsules to keep our heart and blood vessels clear. And in the evening, we drag ourselves to the gym for an hour to sweat out the toxins. And don't get me wrong, those are all good things. I'm your doctor, I'm all for it. But then in the middle of all that effort, you pick up your phone and you take a call from that impossible client, or you get home and you see your kid hasn't done their homework and is just glued to their screen. And that flash of anger, that hot, sudden fury shoots right through you. And I'm telling you, in that very instant, all those supplements you just took, the expensive fish oil, the antioxidant powders, all of it, they get completely canceled out. Worse, they can actually turn against you because in that moment, you just swallowed something far more toxic than you realize. In my medical training, we understand this as a massive stress response. A flood of hormones that literally changes your internal environment in seconds. Let me tell you about a patient I had not too long ago. She lived in a very affluent part of town, beautiful home, private driver, 3 household staff members to handle cooking, cleaning, and the kids on paper. She had a perfect life. But when she walked into my exam room, I could see it immediately. Her complexion was dull, like tarnished metal, no glow. Her brow was tense. Her eyes were distant and unfocused. She sat down across from me, and before she could even form a sentence, tears were welling up in her eyes. She said, "Doctor, I have this terrible pain in my chest. It feels rock hard." She had already been to the top specialists in the city. Shed had MRIs, biopsies, all the most advanced tests, and the diagnosis. Her breast tissue was full of dense nodules. She had 2 large growths on her thyroid, and there were fibroids in her uterus. The surgeons she saw told her straight up, if you don't remove these, the risk of cancer is significant. They recommended a full mastectomy, removing both breasts, and a hysterectomy to remove her uterus. She was terrified. She said, "I'm only in my early 40s. I've already had my children. But if they take all of that away, what does that make me? What kind of woman does that leave me as?" I asked her to extend her arm so I could take her pulse. It's part of how I was trained to see the full picture. And that pulse, it was tight, wiry, tense, like a guitar string stretched to its limit. And underneath that tension, it felt hollow and empty. In my clinical experience, that's a classic sign someone whose internal energy is completely blocked by chronic emotional stress to the point where their physical reserves are drained. So I looked at her and I asked a very simple question. I said, "Is there something going on at home that you've been carrying by yourself for a long time? Have you been swallowing your feelings for years and that was it?" She broke down. She told me her husband was constantly traveling for work, rarely home, and her mother-in-law who lived with them was extremely critical and demanding to keep the peace. To maintain that perfect image of a successful wife and daughter-in-law, she swallowed her anger every single day. She had no one to talk to, no safe place to vent. She thought if she just kept smiling and pushed through, it would eventually get better. She did that for 10 years, and now her body was screaming for help. I told her very gently, "Mom, this isn't just a disease. This is your life force getting stuck. Think of it this way, even the most gorgeous, luxurious mansion, if you board up every single window and seal all the doors shut, if you stop letting fresh air in and stop hauling the trash out, what happens? That house becomes toxic. Poison gas builds up. The people living in it get sick. Your body is exactly the same. Your liver is your body's ventilation system and your waste management department, all rolled into one. But when you suppress your emotions, it's like nailing those windows shut, the metabolic waste, the stress hormones. The byproducts of inflammation, they can't get out. They sit there, they ferment, they putrefy, and over time they congeal into those hard, dense masses we call nodules, cysts, fibroids, and tumors. Modern surgery will cut out the mass. That's treating the symptom. But my approach is to look at the environment because if the soil is toxic, the weeds will always grow back. Now, I did not recommend she rush into surgery, not yet, but I gave her a very strict assignment. I said, "You must learn how to let go. If you don't change your internal environment, I don't care if I give you the most expensive, rarest herbal remedy on earth, that nodule might shrink, but it'll just pop up somewhere else a few months later, maybe in your thyroid, maybe in your ovaries. The soil is poisoned. If you take even half of what I'm about to teach you seriously, not only can you help your body dissolve those existing lumps, you could potentially save yourself tens of thousands of dollars in future medical bills, hospital stays, and insurance copays. I'm going to show you how to use the most inexpensive everyday ingredients, stuff you can find at any Walmart, any local grocery store, to clear out that emotional toxicity that's built up in your system. First, we need to understand the core concept. Why can stress actually turn into a physical lump? This isn't superstition, this is high-level biology. Let's look at it from a natural perspective. In the spring, trees want to grow, they want to reach upward, spread their branches, and expand. But what happens if you take a young sapling and put a heavy cage over it? If you weigh it down with a giant rock, it doesn't just stop growing, it twists, it deforms, it grows knobby, gnarled, and eventually it chokes itself to death. Your body is a microcosm of that same universe. Your liver is in charge of smooth flow. It's the highway patrol of your internal energy and your blood circulation. When you're happy and relaxed, that traffic moves smoothly. But the moment you get angry or stressed out, that traffic cop walks off the job. Let's look at the physiology here. When you get mad, your brain's limbic system sounds the alarm. It signals your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenal glands, that's your HPA axis, to flood your system with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In prehistoric times, this was fantastic. It got you ready to fight a saber-toothed tiger or run for your life. Your blood vessels constrict, your blood thickens because your body is anticipating injury and wants to clot faster, and your digestion and immune system shut down to divert all energy to your muscles. And here's the problem. If you actually fought that tiger or sprinted 5 miles, you'd burn off all that energy and your body would metabolize those hormones. But we're civilized people, we're polite, we have manners, we can't punch our annoying boss in the face, we can't throw our misbehaving kids out the window. So we stuff it down, we swallow it, and that becomes the liver stagnation we see in the clinic. It's like a pressure cooker with its vent blocked. The pressure builds and builds physically. Pressure creates heat, so that chronic stagnation eventually turns into internal heat. You get a bitter taste in your mouth, red eyes, trouble sleeping. Those are signs that heat is burning up your body's fluids. When those fluids get too dry, they turn thick and sticky. In medical terms, we call that phlegm or dampness. And because your blood vessels are constricted, blood flow slows down, and that blood starts to pool and stagnate. Now, here's the formula I want you to remember. Emotional toxicity leads to energy stagnation. Energy stagnation leads to blood stasis. Blood stasis combined with that thick, sticky phlegm gets tangled together, and over time, that forms a physical mass. It's exactly like a river that gets blocked. All the sediment, the trash, the fallen branches pile up and create a dam. In Western medicine, we call that cellular hyperplasia, nodules, tumors. In my clinical approach, we see it as a cold, stagnant mass where your body's vital energy can't reach. So treating nodules, treating fibroids, even preventing cancer isn't just about what pill you take. It's about whether you can move that stuck energy, dissolve that blood stasis, and clear out that phlegm. Now, before I give you my top 3 foods for this, I want you to grab a mirror and look at your tongue. This is a simple screening tool you can do at home to see where you're at. Type 1 chi stagnation. This is the early stage. You sigh a lot. You just feel the urge to take a deep breath and let out a long exhale. Your chest feels tight. And you have this annoying sensation in your throat, like something's stuck there, a lump you can't swallow and can't cough up. Look at your tongue. It's a normal pinkish color with a thin white coating. This means the issue is still just in the energy level. It's relatively easy to fix. Type 2. Heat transformation. This is what happens when that first stage goes untreated. You've become a powder keg, short fuse. You get angry at the drop of a hat. Your eyes get bloodshot. You wake up with a bitter taste in your mouth, and your dreams are vivid, frantic, like watching a movie all night. Look at your tongue now. It's red and the coating is yellow. The stress has turned into internal fire, and it's literally drying up your body's fluids. Type 3, blood stasis. This is the most serious stage. The emotional toxicity has entered your bloodstream and taken physical form. Your complexion is dull. You have dark spots on your face or body. You have stabbing needle-like pain in a specific area that doesn't go away. For women, your menstrual blood has large, dark clots. When you lift your tongue, the veins underneath look thick and purple. This is when your body has likely started forming physical masses, and you need to take it very seriously. No matter which category you're in, I'm going to give you 3 powerful foods that can help. These aren't just foods, they are natural tools backed by tradition and increasingly by modern research that can address the root cause of this emotional toxicity. I call them my de-stressing power trio. Number 1, the mediator, rose. Don't just think of roses as something you buy at the supermarket for Valentine's Day. In my clinical toolkit, rose is a powerhouse in the tradition I draw from. It's described as warm, sweet, and it acts directly on the liver and spleen channels. The key is its fragrance. That aroma is very special. It's moving. It's penetrating, it goes straight to your liver system. Imagine your stuck liver energy is like a tangled mess of yarn or a rubber band stretched to its breaking point. The rose aroma acts like a gentle hand. It slowly untangles that mess and lets that rubber band relax. And we have modern science to back this up. Rose contains volatile oils like citronello and geraniol. When you smell them, they travel through your olfactory nerve directly to your brain's limbic system, where they help regulate the release of dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is a reward and pleasure chemical. Serotonin is your mood stabilizer and feel-good hormone. So when you drink rose tea and you feel better, that's not just in your head, that's real measurable biochemistry. It also helps soothe smooth muscle spasms. So that tightness in your chest, that knot in your stomach when you're angry, rose helps melt it away. Here's my go-to recipe: rose and tangerine peel tea around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're hitting that slump. Take 5 dried rose buds and add about a teaspoon of dried tangerine peel. Why the peel? When liver energy gets stuck, it often overwhelms your digestive system. We call that wood overacting on earth. The tangerine peel helps direct your stomach energy downward, relieving bloating and nausea. The rose moves upward, lifting the liver energy, and the peel moves downward, grounding your digestive energy together. They create a beautiful, balanced flow, like a little internal Tai Chi session in a cup. If you want to get creative, you can make rose honey paste. Take about a cup of fresh rose buds and soak them in about 2 cups of honey. Let it sit in a jar for a month. Take a spoonful every day. Honey soothes and coats, rose moves the stuck energy. I've seen this work wonders for women who get severe breast tenderness before their period, but here's the caution: rose is a mover of circulation. So if you have heavy menstrual flow, you should skip it during your period, or you might find it makes things heavier. Number 2, the uplifter, Buddha's hand. This fruit is fascinating. It looks like a hand with elongated fingers. It has a gorgeous, clean, citrusy fragrance. In my clinical experience, while rose works primarily on the blood, Buddha's hand works on that sticky, stubborn phlegm I talked about earlier. Remember that feeling of a lump in your throat that you can't swallow? That's what I call phlegm energy intermingling. You can go to an end specialist, they'll do a scope, and they'll tell you nothing is there. They might call it chronic pharyngitis or globus sensation, but something is stuck. That's because it's a functional spasm driven by stress. Buddha's hand is incredible for this. It's described as pungent, bitter, and warm, and it acts on your liver, spleen, stomach, and lung systems. It breaks up that sticky phlegm and unties that knot in your throat. And again, we have modern research. Buddha's hand contains compounds like limonene and citral, which have anti-inflammatory properties and can help relax bronchial and gastrointestinal smooth muscle. It literally helps your throat and esophagus relax and open up. Here are 2 simple ways to use it. Make Buddha's hand kanji. Take about an ounce of fresh or dried sliced Buddha's hand and cook it with a cup of rice to make a simple porridge. The aroma alone will fill your kitchen and start calming you down. Or make Buddha's hand ginger candy. Slice the fruit, mix it with fresh ginger juice and a little maltose or honey. The ginger is warming and dispersing. It helps push cold and stuck energy out. Keep a piece in your pocket. The next time your boss or your partner frustrates you, pop a piece in your mouth. That sensation of the flavor filling your sinuses, that's your energy moving again. It's faster than popping an antacid. Number 3, the cleanup crew, Hawthorn berry. Now, this is the one I really want you to pay attention to. Most people think of hawthorn berry as a little digestive aid for kids who ate too much pizza, and yes, it helps with digestion, but if you only use it for that, you're treating a diamond like it's a piece of costume jewelry. In my clinical approach to treating nodules, fibroids, and even supporting cancer care, hawthorn berry is a powerhouse. Think about this: when you're cooking a tough cut of meat like an old chicken or a beef roast and it's just not getting tender, what does a good cook do? They throw in a few dried hawthorn berries, and within an hour, that tough Fibrous meat falls apart. That's because hawthorn contains high levels of organic acids like citric acid and malic acid, along with enzymes that break down protein and fat. It literally liquefies tough tissue. Now, apply that same logic to your body. When you consume hawthorn, it enters your bloodstream over time. It helps break down the thick, sticky plaque, the clotted microblood, and the fatty deposits that have accumulated on your vessel walls and in your tiny capillaries. For patients who look in the mirror and see dark, purplish lips, or who lift their tongue and see those thick, bulging purple veins underneath, or who have those deep, dark age spots that just appeared overnight. These are signs of blood stasis. For patients who've been diagnosed with breast hyperplasia, uterine fibroids, or ovarian cysts, hawthorn is a must-have. It's your internal street sweeper. The modern research here is rock solid. Studies show that hawthorn extract can dilate your coronary arteries, increase blood flow to your heart, and reduce the stickiness of your blood platelets. It essentially unclogs your pipes. And remember, if the blood moves, the stagnation clears. And if the stagnation clears, that nodule has no soil to grow in. But you can't just use hawthorn by itself. You need a partner. My absolute favorite combination I call the dynamic duo T. It's hawthorn and orange pith, hawthorn berry, and the white stringy stuff you peel off an orange. Wait, don't throw that away. I know you peel your oranges. And you meticulously pick off all that white stringy pith and toss it in the trash. Please stop doing that. That pith is actually more valuable than the fruit itself. Here's why in traditional practice, there's a concept that treats like, look at that white pith. It's a network of thin branching threads. Doesn't it look just like your blood vessels, like the tiny intricate ducts in your breast tissue? That's exactly what it works on, the tiny microscopic collateral channels that mainstream medications can't easily reach. Breast nodules are notoriously stubborn because they live in these tiny intricate channels. It's like trying to navigate a big delivery truck through a tiny alley in a crowded city. It doesn't work. You need a bicycle courier. That's what the orange pith is. It's the courier that weaves through the tiniest pathways and sweeps out the gunk. So the formula is hawthorn is the heavy hammer that breaks up the big clots. The orange pith is the fine broom that sweeps out the dust from the corners. You take about 10 grams of dried hawthorn and 5 grams of orange pith. Simmer them in water and drink it as a tea throughout the day. This combination is specifically for clearing those stubborn chi and blood stasis masses like breast nodules, but I have to give you the caution, hawthorn is highly acidic. If you have a history of heartburn, acid reflux, or stomach ulcers, do not take this on an empty stomach. Always drink it after a meal and start with a weaker concentration. And if you're pregnant, avoid it because it moves blood so strongly, it could potentially affect the pregnancy. Be smart, be safe. Now, here's the hard truth. These 3 foods are your tools, but if you eat them while you're still staying up till 2 a.m. arguing on social media, or letting your boss's email ruin your evening, I hate to break it to you, but you're wasting your time. It's like trying to sweep the floor while someone is actively dumping trash on the ground. You'll never win. So to really make this work, you have to work with your body's natural daily rhythm. I want to give you a daily schedule based on the natural energy flow of your organs, what we call the body's clock, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The stomach window, the sun is coming up, your body is waking up. For women, the stomach channel runs directly through the breasts and the thyroid. So before you even pick up your phone, do not check your emails. Do not look at the news. I want you to do this. Find the hollow under your armpit where you can feel your pulse. That's a major hub for your heart energy. Cup your hand and gently but firmly pat that spot on your left and right side about 50 times each. You might feel a tingling in your fingers. You might even see a little redness or a small bruise. That's okay. It's stagnant energy coming to the surface. The heart is in charge of joy. When you clear that, you set a positive emotional baseline for the entire day. After that, have a simple breakfast, a bowl of oat millet porridge, and sprinkle those dried rosebuds right on top. The oats nurture your stomach. The rose lifts your liver energy. That's how you start a good day. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., the heart window. This is high noon, the peak of yang energy. It's also a critical transition point in your body's daily cycle. Do you know what's the absolute worst thing you can do at this time? Get into an argument. It doesn't matter what's happening. Even if you think your world is falling apart, at this moment, you need to stop, shut your mouth, collect yourself. And I want you to take a nap. Even if you can't fall asleep, just close your eyes, lean back in your chair, and completely relax your body for 20 minutes. This is non-negotiable. This 20-minute power rest is worth more than 2 hours of sleep at night. It protects your heart energy, and when your heart is stable, your brain's CEO is calm. Your liver, your general won't dare to rebel. If you pick a fight at noon, you are literally torching your body's most precious resource. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., the small intestine window, your small intestine is working hard, separating the nutrients from the waste. This is when your body absorbs what you consume most effectively. Brew that cup of Buddha's hand and tangerine peel tea from earlier. Drink it slowly, and as you drink it, take a few deep breaths. Inhale. Imagine fresh, clean energy going into your belly. Exhale. Imagine all your frustration, your anger, your resentment leaving your body through your pores. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., the triple burner window. This is the most crucial window of the entire day. This system is the largest passageway in your body. It connects every organ. And what are most people doing at this time? They're watching a suspenseful thriller. They're playing an intense video game. They're doom scrolling on their phone. Let me tell you, that's like taking a tiny flame and dousing it with gasoline. You're burning up the little bit of recovery energy you have left at this time. Do not look at the news. Do not get into political arguments. Do not watch anything that gets your adrenaline up. Instead, I want you to do the most important and frankly, the most painful action of the day. Find the point on the top of your foot in the web between your big toe and your second toe. Push your thumb deep into that soft spot and massage it firmly, sliding your thumb outward toward the space between the toes. That's your body's built-in pressure release valve. If your liver energy is really stuck, this is going to hurt. It might make you gasp, but that's good. Pain means it's stuck. Push through it. Do this about 50 times on each foot until you feel the tenderness start to ease up. That's the stuck energy dispersing. After that, drink a warm cup of chamomile or a mild rose tea, nothing caffeinated, and turn off the lights. Aim to be asleep by 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., the liver window. At this time, you absolutely must be in a deep sleep. This is the time your liver is doing its most critical work. It's processing your blood, filtering out metabolic waste, clearing out emotional debris. If you're awake, scrolling your phone, or lying there thinking anxious thoughts, your liver can't do its job. The trash stays in the system, and over time, that's how we see the progression to serious conditions. If you miss this window, everything else you did that day is compromised. Now, I want to give you a 3-week progression to put all this into action. Week 1, opening the channels. This week, you drink the rose tea every day, and you give yourself one firm rule: do not argue with anyone. If someone pushes your buttons, walk away, don't engage, don't watch negative or fear-inducing news. Just let your body have its first chance in a long time to breathe. Let the block door open. Week 2, dissolving the stagnation. This week, you build on the tea. You add the Hawthorn and orange pith tea 3 times during the week. You can also make a simple Hawthorn fruit snack for yourself. And here's your homework. When you're in the shower, gently palpate your breasts and your thyroid area. Feel for those nodules. Is there any change? Is the edge softer? Is the tenderness decreasing? This is how you track your progress. Week 3, building the foundation. Now you add the Buddha's hand to your meals consistently. You make that kanji. You have that candied fruit, and you start a new habit every single day. You write down your emotions. If something upset you, don't swallow it. Write it down. Get it out of your head and onto paper. The pen and paper will carry that burden for you. Don't let your body carry it beyond the foods. I want to give you 3 powerful acupressure points that cost absolutely nothing. These are the built-in safety switches on your body. Point 1, the anger release valve. This is the one on your foot I already showed you between your big toe and second toe. Push outward. This is for when you're actively angry. Do it immediately after a stressful conversation. And before bed, point 2, the chest opener. This is in the middle of your sternum, right along the line between your nipples. When you're frustrated, you feel a tightness right there. That's energy stuck in your chest. Use the heel of your palm and gently but firmly massage that point in a clockwise circle. Do it 3 times a day for 3 minutes each time. Massage it until you feel a warmth spreading, and if you feel the urge to burp, good. That's the energy releasing. Let it out. Point 3, the liver nourisher. This point is just below your nipple, between your ribs, roughly at the level of the 6th rib. This is where liver energy pools. For people who get that dull ache or sharp stitch on their side, this is a great place to apply a little heat. A warm compress or a heating pad for 10 minutes a week can help warm up that channel and drive out the cold stagnation. Now, I need to give you a very serious warning, and this is important. Food therapy and acupressure are incredible tools for supporting your health. But if you already have a large nodule, or if you notice that a lump is growing rapidly, or its shape is irregular, you absolutely must go to your doctor. Get an ultrasound, get a biopsy. If you need surgery, surgery is a fantastic tool. It's immediate, it's life-saving. Do not avoid surgery if it's recommended. In my clinical philosophy, these two approaches are not in conflict. Surgery handles the immediate crisis. Lifestyle therapy handles the long-term prevention. You can do both. And one more specific caution. If you have breast nodules or uterine fibroids, be very, very careful about concentrated estrogenic foods. That includes things like royal jelly, certain exotic birds' nest products, and even some over-the-counter herbal supplements that claim to be for female health for you. Those are not health foods, those are fertilizer for those nodules. Please stick to whole foods and clear them with your physician first. The core of emotional health is not to never get angry. Let's be realistic. I'm a human being. You're a human being. We get angry, but the trick is how you let it out. You need an exit strategy. Go for a brisk walk. Let that sweat carry the toxins out. Go to a karaoke bar and belt out your frustrations. Let the vibration move that stuck energy. Talk to a friend or even just force yourself to laugh 3 times a day. When you genuinely laugh, your brain releases endorphins. Those are your body's natural pain relievers and anti-cancer chemicals. Remember this, nodules and tumors don't appear overnight. They are the accumulated residue of years of unprocessed emotions. They are your body's way of saying, I can't take this anymore. Don't wait until you're in the surgeon's office to start listening. Starting today, try to be a little more thick-skinned about the things that don't matter. Let the small stuff slide. Don't waste your energy on people who drain you. Focus on the flowers, not the thorns. And please, eat those 3 de-stressing foods I taught you. You're giving your body the tools it needs to clean out the gunk. Your body is yours. Your happiness is yours. Every day you wake up and choose joy, you're investing in your health. Every day you choose to carry anger, you're pouring a little more poison into your system. This is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes to your health routine. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. I hope this has been helpful for you. Drop a comment below if you're going to try that dynamic duo tea. I'd really like to hear how it works for you. And as always, take good care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Take care now.